Bears.
Bears. Bears Country Podcast.
Welcome to Bears Country Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Shorty, here with my man, Nomad. Nomad, are you ready? Say, man, what's happening, Jack? How you doing today, Shorty?
I'm doing much better now that I got my voice back, man. Thank you, Nomad. How you doing, buddy?
I wonder what happened there, man. What the fuck did you drink?
I don't know. I had a frog in my throat. I sounded like you. It was pretty cool.
That's kind of scary, man. Now, how you doing, though?
I'm excellent, man. How are you doing? It's great to be pounding this out with you, man. We got some more transactions that happened with the team today. Ihmir Smith-Marsette, wide receiver, 6'1", 185 pound, little dynamite, 5'4", 440-ish. Looks like a good addition to the team. We saw some good stuff out of him on the Minnesota Vikings. And Kelechi Oseleme, 6'5", 330 pound tackle, guard, whatever you want to call him. These kind of transactions that are going on with the offensive line, in addition to Underwood that we got yesterday, kind of has the arrow pointing up on the offensive line, right?
How about like and love? I really like the Ihmir Smith-Marsette move. That he's a how do we say? I would call him a mixture between Darnell Mooney and what's his name from Buffalo? Can't think of his name right now. Number 14.
Stephon Diggs. Yeah.
Stephon Diggs. Body type, speed of Mooney. And so, yeah, he should be a pretty good addition. He's not the size receiver I was thinking they might have gone after, like a Preston Williams or an Alden Tate. But who knows? For all I know, they could be still eyeballing those guys. Poles was rumored to be eyeballing Preston Williams before we got what's his name, N'Keal Harry. So who knows, man? As many pieces that there are moving, there's no telling what could happen in the next 24 to 48 hours.
And with Tajae Sharpe going down with some strange rib injury, I mean, I've cracked a rib, probably multiple ribs. It hurt like hell. I could barely breathe. It was hard to walk. It was hard to move. It was hard to take a shit. I mean, it hurt like hell. But I was able to play football again in a few months at the most, a couple months at the least. And the fact that he's missing the entire season is kind of strange. So I guess you have to replace him with somebody, and he's a nice little weapon that they added to the team.
Yeah, this whole thing, I've never had a rib injury quite like that. Maybe a strain or something, a muscle strain or something, but nothing like a fracture or anything like that. That is odd to me. I've known a few people to have them a whole season. And that smells kind of fishy. I don't know. Could be some things going on behind the scene. Who knows? It could be legit. It could be that bad. But it's just hard for me to imagine a whole season for a rib injury. But if this is their replacement, they'll figure out some way to use him and use his skill sets, I'm sure.
Well, they're still not disclosing injuries, right? Like exactly what the injury is, right? They don't have to do that until the season starts. So he could have punctured a lung or any other number of organs or something if the rib broke that badly. So missing the entire season, it must have been a pretty severe injury, to say the least.
I don't know, man. It's just fishy sounding to me. I mean, if he's got a punctured lung, I'll fall on my sword about that and apologize. But it's just, I feel bad for him, man, because he performed so well in OTAs and in camp, and everything was taken up for him. So I'm sure he's probably somewhere bummed the fuck out and just like, damn, man, here was my opportunity and this shit happened.
Yeah, no shit, right? I'm sure he was getting excited about playing with Justin Fields because, we talked about some of these wide receivers that they brought into the team and how the missing factor in their development of, being cut from their team that they were on was that those teams didn't have a quarterback. And you got to get excited if you see the potential in Justin Fields as a wide receiver who's coming to Chicago to play for the Bears, that you're putting your eggs in that basket. I'm sure he thought he was going to have a real good chance with a much better quarterback, and it sucks that we're not going to get to see that this year. So hopefully Marsette can fill the void that Sharpe left behind.
Yeah, and just praying for Tajae Sharpe, man. Get well, man. Get better, and hopefully next year when you come back at it, dude, you'll be 100% and get to where you was aiming to get to this year. But with that being said, before anybody gets out there and starts that bull crap about, here go the Bears again, dumpster diving for cut players. Again, these are NFL talented players. There's been a regime change in Minnesota, so multiple guys have lost position. That's just what happened. It's the nature of the beast. When new regimes come in, they see a guy that fits, and they see guys that don't. And whether he's a good player or not, if he's not someone that's gelling with the coaches and buying into what they're selling, I don't care how good he is. You saw what happened when our guys got here. They found themselves out of the door. And so here we are on the receiving end of a couple of really talented players that Minnesota let go of. So I don't want to hear none of that bullshit. Those guys could play last year. You wasn't calling them bums last year. Don't call them bums now.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the tackle / guard that we picked up today, Kelechi Oseleme? I'm pretty jacked about that guy. He's a bruiser.
Oh my, bro. My eyebrows raised up because I hadn't seen him in a couple of years. I'm like, okay, where's he been? And so the first thing came to my mind is this dude is, you put Tevin Jenkins and Dieter Iserland together, and they can't even fucking compare to how nasty this dude is. This dude is a caged animal with raw meat. He destroys people. I mean, I've seen this guy ragdoll 320-pound men like you would do a child or something. I mean, it's ferocious when you watch it. You have to really study his tape, man. I'm telling you, this dude is an animal. I mean, absolute animal, and he finishes people.
So you think they're going to have him maybe compete with Borum to take over that right guard position and maybe use Borum and Reef as swing tackles or something?
Absolutely not. I think he's a left side guy, whether it be left guard or left tackle. He's there, and I believe, and this is just off, I'm just not pulling stuff out of my ass, but I am reaching. I'm assuming he's there to, no one's been able to push Cody Whitehair thus far. I don't know how physical Cody Whitehair has looked in the run game. I've seen some plays where Cody Whitehair didn't look so good in the run game, and they are insisting on establishing a physical presence up front. And if Cody Whitehair, I don't care if he's been there 25, 30 years, if he's not giving them what they want, he's going to bring somebody in to give him a legit push for his job. And so I think on that side, that's where Osemele, I might be butchering his name. I think he's probably aiming at that left guard spot. However, Leatherwood, I think he's can I get into this real quick, and I'll just throw my little assumption out there?
No, please do.
Okay. And so I said something to some guys in the bar room, and I told them that, just a wild thought, just off of his resume, talking about Leatherwood, that he would come in and push for the right tackle job. Reason being is because I didn't think in the preseason that Larry Borum was quite physical enough. He wasn't quite nasty enough at that right tackle spot. And I think I'm telling you, man, I think they are insisting on being nasty across that front line. And I didn't see that in Larry Borum. And so when they got Leatherwood, that's the first thing I thought they're going to throw him at right tackle, and Larry Borum and Reef would be the swing tackles. And sure as shit, they got him in there in the first day. Where'd they put him? Right tackle. And so, not trying to sound like the guy that knows everything, but that was my hunch, and that's what happened.
So you think that the signing of Oseleme could be an insurance policy also for Braxton Jones in case he doesn't work out at left tackle?
We a damn good one because he plays them both equally well.
Yeah. So I mean, upgrade. We upgraded the offensive line in 2 days, right? We had this worry about the offensive line going into the season. We were all excited about the general manager being of the offensive line background, and we knew that he was going to put together a good offensive line on this team. And some people were kind of worried going into the season, especially before it looks like Tevin Jenkins is a solid right tackle or right guard. All of a sudden, just in the matter of a couple of, if you really want to call it, if you can go back to the last preseason game, really seeing what we had in Jenkins, it's a massive upgrade that we've seen at this offensive line just in the last week or so that gives me personally a lot of hope going into the season, because now we have some depth to it as well. We got some nasty motherfuckers on this team too. So pricks, like Poles likes to call them. So I'm excited moving forward, but this is some good news today, man.
Not only pricks, we got a bunch of hostile pricks. These are some mean sons of bitches, man. I guarantee you that. And that's what they want. You want that kind of attitude and that kind of demeanor up front. And I just didn't see it in Borum, man. You know, I couldn't watch everything, but Borum is not a great finisher. That's what they're looking for. They're constantly talking about finishing. He's not a grave digger. He's not putting these dudes into the dirt like he's supposed to. And they're going to find somebody eventually to get that done. And they may have found that in Leatherwood, man. And I don't know if he's going to he's been training, been in camp just like everybody else has this year. So it's just a matter of him learning the terminology and the sets and, you know, just the verbiage that goes on up front before he's challenging Larry Borum, I think.
And speaking of Brian Poles, as I was just talking about with the offensive line talent he's bringing in, it was really cool to see him do a presser with Ian Cunningham and have them both kind of sit out there and talk about what they're doing together with the team. That's the first time we've ever seen that, right? Never seen a tandem of general managers sitting at the podium for the Chicago Bears before. Pretty cool, man.
Man, you know, that was really cool. I appreciated that on Ryan Poles' part, because usually these guys are pretty vain and in their positions. They want to be the focus, the spotlight, and they don't want anybody taking that shine. I think he's putting Ian Cunningham in a position to have recognition and to be able to have an easy landing strip into one of these GM jobs at some point soon. I think he's putting them in a position. And if we're doing well this year, like I expect us to be doing, yeah, some people are going to be calling that guy because he's got everything to do with all this. Because Poles can't do everything. He can't study everybody and still be an administrator. He's got to have somebody that puts on that hat and say, hey, man, I've been looking at these guys over here. Osemele, he's healthy and ready to get back into the league. I got a guy from the Raiders that's talked to me about Leatherwood, and they said might be just technical problems, and he thinks it's something the O-line coaches here can clean up, and we got us a steal. You know, that's probably Ian Cunningham doing a lot of that. I'm not saying that Poles doesn't have a part in that. I'm sure he does. But someone has to do that legwork, you know? And so, to me, he's going to be on a glide path to a GM spot soon, especially if we start doing well this year.
2 is always better than 1, right? Be a lot easier to clean your house. Be a lot easier to clean your house if you could clone yourself, right? Or clone yourself and your wife. You'd be getting twice as much done. Why wouldn't he want to have a right-hand man like that can be on the ground doing the legwork for him so he can actually do his job? And brilliant. And it's refreshing to see both McCaskey's finally allowing this team to have an assistant general manager, because we've heard about the general manager that went to Indy. He wanted the same thing, and we wouldn't give it to him at the time, or the Bears wouldn't give him to him at the time. And they're seeing what they're building in Indy, and now we give him the opportunity to do it with to have an assistant general manager in Ian Cunningham, and we're seeing the fruits of the labor, I think, already. And it's such a short period of time to be seeing the fruits of that labor. I mean, this offensive line it's an upgrade from last season. Would you say so or not?
Oh yeah, no question about it. Just the type of guys that they brought in and the type of play they're insisting on out of that offensive line, whether it be the guys they brought in or a couple of guys that are there from years past. They are insisting on a certain type of play, and if you can't deliver, you won't be there long. And you can tell that these guys, that was part of the sell job with the Bears front office. I mean, the ownership rather, was we will get this offensive line retooled and fixed and ready to service this team. That's what we do. Both of those guys are offensive line guys. And so Brian Pohl's probably not here had they not went along with hiring Ian Cunningham. He's probably in Minnesota some fucking way. Yeah. And they're still hot. The Vikings fans are fucking hot. And we got two of their best players just in the last 24 hours. They're fucking hot, bro. Trust me.
I bet they are. And good. We actually have a Vikings podcaster that we've been trying to reach out to. I guess this is a good time as any to kind of promote that. We've been reaching out to podcasters of other NFC North teams, and we managed to land one from the Vikings. We're trying to get Lions and Packers so we can do a little breakdown the week before leading up to our team's matchups. And so far we have a Vikings lined up, so that'll be fun to kind of shoot the shit with him when he comes on. Just talk about, we took some of their players. Kellen Mond hasn't worked out for them. That's kind of a surprise. And little things like that. It'll be fun once we can get the entire thing lined up to have all three other teams join us in a podcast and just kind of do a weekly breakdown of that week's game. It should be pretty fun. So look out for that in the future, and make sure you subscribe and set your notifications as well for that, because we already have one. We only have two left, so I'm sure it's going to happen. Anything else you want to talk about, Nomad? I think that's about it.
Really quickly. A couple of things that he guys, please give what is his name? Sam Mustipher. Give that man his flowers, man. That man has improved. His upper body strength is much, much better. His lower body strength is much, much better. Is he still getting pushed back a little bit? Yes. But that guy is improving, and Poles gave him his respects today. I noticed that. He went out of his way to give Sam Mustipher his flowers. And so I'm going to give them to him too. So you guys, ease up on Sam, man. He's out there working his ass off, and he's not trying to be out there and get a quarterback destroyed. He's doing his very best. Is he a little undersized at times? It seems like it. But he looks a lot stronger than he did, and he was the first man up when Justin got the shit knocked out of him. Who was there first? The bodyguard, Sam. So, right. Give that guy his flowers. But the last thing about the offensive line, I think in the Hogan Johns interview, I think I read a quote saying, I could have done the Tevin situation or handled the Tevin situation better than I did. And something along that line. Mm-hmm. He's pleased with Tevin, and he's glad that he's working out at guard, and they're pleased with that. But he also said that he wasn't the one that was calling people about trading him. So he put that out. So
yeah,
what do you think about it?
I was happy to see that in the press conference that you could tell in his response that he's very happy with Tevin Jenkins, and he talked about the process of moving everyone around on the line, and they said that they were going to do that from the beginning. And then once that happens and everyone's wondering what the hell is going on, well, they told you they were doing that, and it worked out for them. The fruits of their labor paid off. They said, fuck it, let's just put Jenkins on the inside. Let's see what happens. And the kid is just such a beast it's to see him working out and playing well. It just makes me so happy for the kid, man, because he deserves it. And so do we as fans.
Yeah, you can put the raps on it if you want. I know we got shit to do.
Well, I just wanted to. There's a couple things I wanted to say. The first one is I heard recently that Hub Arkush is hospitalized for some kind of he had a medical emergency and he was hospitalized, and he's been in the hospital for a couple of weeks now. He was hospitalized in mid-August. So just want to send out our prayers to Hub Arkush. He's been around a long time in the Chicago scene. I remember reading all of his articles when I was a kid in the Tribune or the Sun-Times, whatever it was. I can't remember. I think it was a Tribune. But I'm a big fan of Hub Arkush's. I know we all in Chicagoland are. And we just want to send out our wishes to Hub. We hope you're okay. Whatever's going on, we hope you are well soon and get out of the hospital and get home and get back to what you do best. And the second thing that I wanted to say is, and you can add to this too, Nomad, we learned that we should probably first off start by saying we have a Podfather and the Barroom Network, and we're moving our Monday night 8 p.m. Eastern live show to the Barroom Network, and we were supposed to do that this Monday. That was going to be the first show. There's a whole lot of production that's going into redoing Bears Country podcast, and our Podfather, Aldo Gandia, his mother passed away yesterday. So, Aldo, we want to send our condolences to you. We love you. We hope that you and your family are okay, and nobody ever wants to lose their mother. I don't care if your mother is 150 years old. Nobody wants to lose their mother. So our hearts are out to you, Aldo, and your family, and I'm sure you want to add anything to that, Nomad?
Not really. Just want to say peace and love to Aldo and his family. Just be there for your loved ones, brother, and wish your heart some healing, man. I'm here for whatever you might need. Just give us a call if you need some help with anything. Call us up.
So that being said, I don't know if we're actually moving our podcast to the Barroom on the 5th, this next coming Monday. We were supposed to. We told Aldo, please don't even worry about any of this now. Just take care of your family and yourself. And as of this moment, we're still planning on it, but we'll keep you posted just to let you know if we're not. Then the Monday night broadcast will be done from this channel, the Bears Country Podcast, here. So if you like this content, please subscribe and like it. And
hang on. You forgot one thing.
What's that?
And aren't we supposed to be featured on a pod?
Oh, yeah. Jesus, I'm so sorry. Yes, we are going to be on. I was so caught up in all that. My heart's just going out to Aldo right now. Yes, we have been invited to be on the Unbearable Sports podcast tonight with Brad Barron. We're doing that at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be breaking down the roster with Brad. We had a great time with Brad on Monday when he came on our show, and he had a great time too. So he reached out to us to come on a show tonight. So check us out over on the Unbearable Sports channel with Brad Barron, talking some more Bears with you at 9 p.m. Central. It's going to be a lot of fun. Brad's a good conversation. So until then, I guess we'll wrap up Bears Country Podcast episode, whatever this is. I lost track. So again, if you do like this content, please make sure to like and subscribe, set your notifications, because we have a lot of amazing things planned for this channel, including live podcasts of pregame, midgame, and postgame at the Bears opener against the 49ers, as well as another one here in Atlanta playing the Falcons. I have season tickets to that. We're going to go to that and do our show from there. And then we'll also be back in Chicago when the Bears play the Dolphins, and we're going to be there with the Barroom Network, and we're going to do some really amazing things from there as well. So make sure you like and subscribe, set your notifications, check us out in a couple hours over on Unbearable Sports. Until then, we'll see you next time. Bears!
Bears.